Hey everyone, Guten Tag everyone. Guten Tag, good good evening, good afternoon. It's good to have you guys here in today. We're here at Strasbourg. We're doing leg 2 of our Orient Express journey as we're here to do leg 2 of the 6-week journey from Paris to Istanbul. So we're actually here as well. So it's great to have everyone here. We have Super Typhon in the chat. It's excellent to see you here. I hope you're doing well. So this one is going to be pretty important for today. So we're doing leg 2 of our trip. So we're actually going to go through from Strasbourg to Munich today. This would be leg 2. Originally this journey was supposed to be 166 nautical miles, which seemed pretty short, but I decided to follow the railroads again to do some IFR flying. So basically, I'll be showing you the route in just one sec. I have to do one last final slide, I believe. So I'll just hold on a sec. Okay, so now we're gonna get ready to go show off our slideshow. Let's go see our route. Should pop up here soon. There she is. So this is our route for today. This one is about 300 nautical miles. Our journey today, but this one's gonna be a pretty cool one. So we start here at Strasbourg. We'll be flying to downtown Strasbourg one final time to reconnect with the railway over at Strasbourg. So we'll be reconnecting here. Once we go here, we visit the cathedral. We'll cross the Rhine over to Kiel. Then from Kiel, we're going to enter into Offenburg and go our way, fall through the Rhine Valley Railroad. So we're going to go all across here. We'll be visiting quite a few really interesting places like Oppenwerfer. We get to visit Karlsruhe Baden as well. Rottstadt. Then we get to visit the city of Karlsruhe, one of the larger cities in Baden-Württemberg. Then from there, we'll be traveling through up here, fly over Waghasel, and then we get to visit Hockenheim, and we're going to be flying over the Hockenheim racetrack on our way there, so we'll be flying over there. Then from there, we'll be falling back to Brühl. Then we'll go past the Rhine again, and we reach to the city of Ludwigshafen, and then into the city of Mannheim. This famous city is one of the oldest universities here in Germany. We'll also be visiting the water tower here, which is actually in-game POI. Then we'll be going across to Heidelberg. And then from Heidelberg, we'll be going down through the railroad, get into the tunnel. And from our tunnel, we'll be reaching the largest city in Baden-Württemberg, its capital, Stuttgart. We'll be visiting the birthplace of both Mercedes-Benz as well as the headquarters for Porsche. This legendary German city is very famous. And then we'll be going through the railroad again, passing through Wabingen, across to the hills and valleys of this area. We'll be going through Holland as well. We'll go through the peaks and valleys into the area. We'll be reaching Giengen. Go across this way. Then we've reached the city of Ulm here in Germany. We'll be visiting the city of Ulm. So we'll be going across the Danube. And then from there, we'll be traveling through across here, back to Offenburg, and then cross the ring, and we'll make our way to Augsburg, Germany. So there's Augsburg right here. And then we go down here, and we'll be crossing the railroad all the way till we reach to our destination in Munich. This iconic city was the host place for many of the 1972 Olympic Games, which was held here. We'll be visiting the Olympian Stadium in Allianz Arena, and finally make our way to our final stop here in Munich Airport. So that is going to be for today's flight. It's about 314 nautical miles. This should be a pretty good trip here. So for us, we're going to take a different plane for this one. Now, I'm gonna pick something off the wall here again. You felt the Cap 10 was off the walls. You guys are gonna love this plane. It's an extra 330 LT. It's an extra 330 LT. This is actually the touring version of the extra 300. So interesting facts, this was actually first flew back in 1988, designed by Walter Extra. It was manufactured by Extra Flugzeugbau. This is a two-seat aerobatic monoplane designed for the unlimited category of competitive aerobatics. It was based on the previous Extra 230 model. It has a welded steel tube fuselage with aluminum fabric. And this plane actually is certified for stress up to 10 Gs if you have one person. And if you have two people, it can hold up to 8 G, positive or negative 8 Gs, which is ridiculous. And there's many different variants of it, like a two-seat version, a single-seat version 300. You have a 330 SX models. You have a high-performance version as well. The LT, this one is a touring version with powered by Lycoming AEIO 580, which this thing produces a pretty impressive 315 horsepower. It has a true cruise speed of around 205 knots true airspeed. It has a range of about 600 nautical miles, which is pretty impressive for a little plane. Uncle B Sim, good to see you. Jeremy, play me in Germany. Chronicle, good to see you. Guys, check out Uncle B Sim, the Uncle B Sim channel. He does stream here on Twitch. I think I would love for you to give him some support. So it's good to have you here. So let's look at the Extra 330 LT. So you see, it's got the Garmin systems. It's similar to that of the Pipistrel Virus. We turned in the Extra 300? Yes. But cheers. No worries. Yeah, we're turning the 300 today. Well, because we're going to be doing a lot of acrobatic flying here today. So I think this would be an excellent plane to do it in. So let's go ahead and get this plane turned on for today. So we have the fuel selector. We need to set this into the acro incinerator tanks. So we need to go there. Battery switch will be turned on. Alternator on. Wingtip and strobe lights will be on. And the props need to be at max RPM, which they already are. We'll just open the throttle 1/4 of an inch. Boost pump will be on. Make sure. Okay, turn it off. Then we turn on the ignition. The ignition's right here. Okay, everything looks good. And we just turn on the avionics switch. Yeah. So yeah, that's it. That's a pretty easy way to turn on this plane. Now there's no autopilot in this, so do be warned. This has no autopilot. So, but we're not really interested in going autopilot. We're gonna have fun flying it, which is why I wanted to pick this for today. This is a very fun plane to do. If you love aerobatics, this is amazing. It's a great step up from the Cap 10. You'll be flying on Glacier National Park. Ooh, yeah, the Glacier National Park's beautiful, Chronicle. Yeah, you'd be more than welcome to join me when you land. Absolutely. Definitely. Now, obviously, this plane definitely has some really interesting quirks. For one, it's extremely maneuverable, but here's another thing. Unlike the Cap 10, so also, this thing has no flaps. So what does this mean? Well, without flaps, the only way we're going to slow down this bad boy as well. So we're going to go ahead and taxi. So what we're doing today is we're going to be following much of our route today is going to be following much of this thing. Oh, Bishop fried through the 300. It was a blast. Yeah, the extra 300 is an absolute blast to fly. So we're going to be following much of the route today is going to be following that of the Intercity Express. Now, the reason we're following much of that route for today is because, well, that's where much of the route goes through the ICEs. So basically with the ICE or the Intercity Express, it's actually a system of high-speed trains that are usually run here in Germany. It also serves other destinations in Austria, Denmark, France, Belgium, Switzerland, and the Netherlands, usually for cross-border services. It is the highest service category of rail and is the flagship train of the German state railway Deutsche Bahn. There's currently 29 different train sets used here for these trains, and they're among the highest category trains in the system. They travel up to speeds up to 200 miles an hour or 320 kilometers an hour. They are tailored for business travelers or long-distance commuters, and they're considered by many to be alternative to actual flights. Apart from domestic use, they can also be used in countries outside of Germany. And this has been going on since 1980s. In fact, 1985 was the first time they used it, and they have all sorts of routes. We're mainly following the routes. We're mainly following like the Mannheim-Stuttgart route. Is going to be the main high-speed railway we're going to be following, but we're going to follow other railway networks and all that today. So that's where we're going to be visiting for today. Go ahead and take off. Now, if you guys want to join me, I'm on East USA. The closest railroad is Lima Foxtrot Sierra Tango, and we're off. Go route 3500. So that is a bit. Now we're gonna actually go ahead and talk about one last thing. Much of our trip is gonna go through the Rhine River today. We'll be seeing the incredible Rhine, which is the river system we're gonna be visiting next. The Rhine is where we're gonna fly over for much of our journey, fly next to. But basically, the Rhine, for those who don't know, is one of Europe's most important rivers. It's actually Western Europe's second longest river, behind the Danube. It starts in Switzerland, it goes up through the Swiss Alps, goes through much of the German-French border, and then finally flows into the Netherlands, where it just deposits back to the North Sea. In fact, the Rhine-Danube comprised much of the boundary of the Roman Empire during the time. It's been a very vital waterway since the days of the Romans. And there's a lot of cities on the Rhine. Cologne, Rotterdam, Düsseldorf, Duisburg, Strasbourg, Gießen, and Basel are all major cities that rely on the Rhine River. And I mean, there's so much history about the Rhine. I could do a whole river journey series, but it shows you where the Rhine is. We're gonna head back into Strasbourg for one final time. I need to lower the trim a little bit. and keep the speed to a pretty consistent speed. So we'll be visiting Strasbourg for one final time today. So back to the railroad station. So I hope you guys have had a great rest. I hope you guys have had a good week so far. Look at that, pretty fun. There's the Strasbourg rail station once again. We just fly over that. And then we get to, there is the Cathedral of Strasbourg. It was once the tallest building for 227 years. It's still the tallest building from the Middle Ages. We'll pass this great cathedral one final time, and then we'll be heading away to Germany. I'm gonna go ahead and take one final picture for some Firefly. Have known by Discord by then. But yeah, Strasbourg is an absolutely beautiful city. Definitely recommend you guys check it out. So now we're crossing into the Rhine, into the city of Kiel. So Kiel's going to be our city we're visiting first. The first city in Germany we're going to be visiting here today. It's right across the thing from the Rhine. It's actually right next to the city of Strasbourg. It was first mentioned back in 1038. In 1338, the first permanent bridge between Kiel and Strasbourg was completed. It used to be it was taken over by France in 1678. And then also it received town rights in 1774 by Charles Frederick. In 1870, the Germans now taken Kiel back to the Germans. During the First World War, the city was placed under French administration to prevent German attacks. During World War II, it was located in the red zone because the city was it, so it was clear when the war broke out, and the population was evacuated to the Black Forest. As well. So there are two noble. There's one of those noble people is actually French astronaut Jean-Jacques Favier. Is one of its most famous astronauts during that time. We're going to go across here. we're gonna head down this way to the next place. We're gonna be visiting the next place, Offenburg. Offenburg is going to be our next stop here. It has over 60,000 inhabitants. It's the largest city and it is the administrative capital of the Orient, which is one of the districts here in Baden-Württemberg. It's obviously very famous as being it's well known for being a rail station town, but it was first mentioned all the way back in 1148. It was a free imperial city by 1240. During the outbreaks of the revolutions of 1848, the Offenburger program was put forward here in 1847, which was actually where the first demand for democracy here in Germany. During World War I, this was one of the first cities to experience the effects of aerial bombardment against a lot of the railways. In World War II, Offenburg was exposed to a lot of the evacuations of the Battle of France during this time, and it was also bombed. For much of its railway installations were bombed here in World War II. Since the creation of the Federal Republic, it's developed in size, inhabitants, and prosperity as well. And also the town offers rich trade and manufacturing sector, home to many well-known brands, including the Tessa Adhesive Tape Company, known for making tapes, Hansgrohe SE, which is for sanitary fittings. The Edeka Group is the largest German supermarket corporation, has a center here. And Hubert Berta Media, which is one of Germany's largest production companies, still is here too. There's quite a few historical ones, mainly famous being the Salmon Inn. And there's quite a few famous people born here, including World War I flying ace Hermann Wallendorf lived here, and Lawrence Oken, which is a German naturalist, was pretty well known in Germany, being born there as well. That is Offenburg. There's ENDTL. There's the airport here in Offenburg. So we're gonna fly over that. Find our rail station, and we can reconnect from here. There's the rails, so we can now reconnect. And I get to show off one of the best things about this extra. The thing is a bloody beast when it comes into speed. Find the trail station. And look at this. Isn't this awesome, guys? This part of Germany is pretty nice, especially with the Rhine. I hope you guys are doing well. Like I said earlier, I've been working on all weekend to get the slides as good as it should be. There's going to be lots of slides for today, because we're going to get into the Rhine. I forgot to also mention the train station. Train station's a pretty historic part of Offenburg as well. This train station here has been around since the 1800s. The station was designed by architect Friedrich Eisenhower. It's a smaller version of the one here at Karlsruhe. During World War I, there were several attacks on the station. The most serious was led to the collapse of the entire central part. though it was completely rebuilt as well back in recent days. Interstate Express, the ICE stations, operate the station every 2 hours between Berlin, Frankfurt, and Basel. And here they operate a wide range of destinations in Germany and Switzerland. Here as well, so you have all the different routes coming out of this train station, which is pretty cool. It occurs around 165 knots. Just join the low and slow. We're pretty fast, actually. We're not that fast, though. So, some bit of Microsoft Flight Sim news, if you guys are so interested. So, the Bell 47 can now has floats, which just came out yesterday. Just Flight, it really had a preview video of their FS traffic. That's also come around, and then finally the last thing is Project Lift come out with their airport, which has the featured train model of the Glacier Express out of Ulrichen Airport, Lima Sierra Mike Charlie. Which definitely was really interesting to have a train station. Then again, Jeppesen did one. If Jeppesen could do it, I think they could do it too. Yeah, like I said, these bareback ones are not too hard to get stable if you know how to do the trim properly. Oh, they also show the update for the F-28. Oh, really? The F-28 Fokker F-28 Friendship. The Fellowship. Oh yeah, that just came out today. Yeah, the F-28 is really fascinating. Another regional jet. I mean, I've already got the BA-4146, so I don't know if I want to get the Fokker. I mean, I've already got the 146, and that's a brilliant plane. I mean, it's great to have more regional jets in the sim. But yeah, thank you for showing that off, Super Typhon. So to our left here is actually the airport, Echo Delta Sierra Bravo. We're not flying near it, but that is actually that's actually the main airport in this area. The Karlsruhe Baden-Baden Airport it's an international airport. It's the second largest in Baden-Württemberg for airports, behind only Stuttgart Airport. This airport has been around since the 1950s as a military airfield. And yeah, over to our right is the Black Forest, basically. All this is Black Forest to our right. This is the Black Forest region. We're in that region. But then it became a commercial airport in the 2000s. The first one was a flight from Firefly Deutschland. They did it from here to Palma de Mallorca and Ibiza. In 2008, it counted over 1 million passengers a year for the first time. Ryanair operated here as a base for Ryanair with 20 different routes. Currently, it is the 18th largest airport in Germany, with over 1.1 million passengers as of 2016. mostly for low-cost leisure flights. And they offer flights. Some destinations include Herculean from Aegean Airlines. Ryanair does flights to the Caribbean, but also to Tel Aviv, Zagreb, Stockholm, and Sofia. And Wizz Air does flights to Belgrade, Pristina, Skopje, and Tirana. So just to keep an eye, you can't wait for a proper 727. Yeah, I think the 727 would be great. 72 would be really fun. No, I would love to see the 72. I think that would be great. Though I do agree, I like seeing the older jets too, not just the newer ones. Yeah, it's great to see the older jets. I mean, I've already got my original jet, the 146, and that. I hope the F-28 is gonna be good. About to reach to our next city. Our next place is going to be so there's the railway we're supposed to be following, the Mannheim Karlsruhe Basel Railway. This is the railway we're going to be following from our short journey up here. This is currently a double-tracked electrified mainline railway. It runs from Mannheim via Heidelberg, Bruchsal, Karlsruhe, Rostock, Baden-Baden, Offenburg, and Freiburg to Basel, Switzerland. It's known as the Rhine Valley Railway, or the Upper Rhine Railway. This line was actually been built all the way back in the 1840s, and it took from 1840 all the way to 1855 for the final pieces to do. It was built as part of the Baden Main Line, or known as Badische Hauptbahn, between Mannheim and Rostock. Runs parallel to the Baden-Rhine Railway, known as the Rheinbahn. That started construction in 1987 and includes upgrading the current line to 4 tracks. So they do lots of different train routes, but this is the one they mainly operate, is this railway. You can definitely see a picture of it here to the right. So basically, I'm going to go over the picture, but it starts here at Mannheim. We fall down to Heidelberg, Karlsruhe, Offenburg, and all the way down to Switzerland. So that is that route. So I hope you guys get that pretty clear, right? And then down below us is the city known as Rostock. Down below is Rostock. This city is known for its Baroque core. It's located in the district of Rostock in Baden-Württemberg, located in the upper Rhine plain of the Murg River. It has a population of around 50,000 people as of 2011, but this place is most well known for being part of the War of Spanish Succession, mainly the Treaty of Rostock, which was a peace treaty between France and Austria to end the War of Spanish Succession between both countries. But it was also known for the revolutions of 1848 here in the German states. Also, in addition to this as well, Rostock was also the place where between 1946 and 1954 they held 20 major criminal proceedings here for crimes against foreign workers in the smaller concentration camps by the Nazis, with more than 2,000 defendants during this time. It's home to many historical buildings like the Schloss Rostock, which is a Baroque palace, and the Schloss Favorite, which is another one of these palaces. Of course, it also lies in the beautiful Black Forest as well. And one of its most famous people born, and it is formed for some very famous people, but mainly the big one, Ricky King was born here, who reached top hits in 1976. As well. So that will complete Rostock. for us. That would complete that for us. So there's Rostock completed. We're going to go ahead and turn left. Or right, I mean. So I know a lot of you have been asking, what is the heck is the Black Forest? Well, I forgot to put notes on the Black Forest, basically. But for guys that don't know, the Black Forest is a forested mountain range here in Germany. It's in Baden-Württemberg. The highest peak is actually around 5,000 feet, known as the Feldberg. 5,000 feet tall, above sea level. It has a length of really 100 miles and up to 30 miles wide. Of course, this forest is well known for all of its trees and its ore deposits, but now it's a major jobs industry. Tourism is a big deal nowadays here in the Black Forest, with over 300,000 jobs. There's also a lot of fortifications dating back to the 17th century here. And this area is rich in culture and cuisine. And of course, cuisine is a big part of the Black Forest. Mainly the two big things that is well known here is the Black Forest ham, which is Germany's most prized ham possession. And finally, it's cake, the Black Forest Gâteau, or Black Forest cake, which is a chocolate sponge cake with a rich cherry filling as well, which is a very famous dish here as well. It's been around for a long time. And the largest one set up was at Europa Park, weighing nearly 80 square meters, weighing about 6,600 pounds of cake, which is around 10 meters in diameter. And it used up like 700 liters of cream, 5,600 eggs, 1,800 pounds of cherries, 88 pounds of chocolate shavings, 120 liters of kirsch, and more. It's a massive cake. It's huge. So now we're about to approach, actually, I got my slides mixed. Okay. Oh great, did I run out of fuel here? Oh boy. Yeah, I think I did. Yeah, I ran out of tank in the center tank. But the next place we're visiting is Karlsruhe. Karlsruhe is our next city. So this city in particular is actually the second largest, it's the third largest city in the state, behind Stuttgart and Mannheim, the 21st largest city in Germany, with over 308,000 inhabitants. It's the largest city in the region of Baden. It's Germany's legal center, being home to no fewer than 3 of the top federal courts, the Federal Constitution Court, the Bundesverfassungsgericht, the Federal Court of Justice, Bundesgerichtshof, and the Public Prosecutor General of the Federal Court of Justice, General Bundessanwalt beim Bundesgerichtshof. Karlsruhe has also been the capital of a couple of major kingdoms and duchies. The thing that makes it most remarkable is the famed Karlsruhe Palace, which was built in 1715. There's actually 9 institutions of higher education here, most notably the Karlsruhe Institute of Technology as well. And this place has been around since the days of the Holy Roman Empire. In fact, this place was once visited by Thomas Jefferson during his envoy in France. And Karlsruhe was what inspired him to build Washington, D.C. Believe it or not, it was actually here. And of course, much of this area here was reduced to rubble by Allied bombing. at this time. So that is a bit about Karlsruhe. This place actually has photogrammetry, so let's see if we can find the palace somewhere. Karlsruhe Palace is very, very famous. There's the palace. There's Schloss Karlsruhe, very famous palace, created in 1715. Very famous palace here in the city. So here it is. Here's the palace. I don't have notes for it, unfortunately. But what I can tell you, according to my research, I didn't have notes for it. It was actually built in 1715 for Margrave Charles III William of Baden-Durlach after disputes with his previous capital, and since the city was grown since around it, and it's been around since that time. Originally built of wood, but it's now made of stone. It was also used to be the homes of the monarchs here. There's the palace. Pretty cool stuff, isn't it? But man, this is definitely a very cool city. Yeah, this place has a surprising amount of history to it too. But definitely a cool German city. Like I said, the Germans have a lot of history and stuff. Even though maybe the unified German state may not have a long history, but the German cities itself have a lot of culture. And there's Dortmund. This was the previous capital of Baden, down below us. There's Dortmund. It's great to have you guys here. Thank you so much for coming along to today's stream. So we do these Orient Express journeys every single Wednesday. On Sundays we have our city tour series, where I tour a lot of the photogrammetry cities. So, like I said, you guys are all more than welcome to join along on these flights. Also, in addition for Karlsruhe, I forgot to tell you about this, but Karlsruhe is actually home to Germany's largest oil refinery, believe it or not. Yes, Germany has oil, believe it or not. But not much of it, obviously. It also has its own railway. The Verkehrsbetrieb, which is the city's largest public network, hosted many different tram routes and stuff in the city. There's also the Karlsruhe Stadtbahn, which is a German tram train system that connects a lot of the city to others. there's quite a few notable people here. There's footballer Gottfried Fuchs. He was part of the German national football team. He scored a then world record 10 goals for them in a 16-0 win versus Russia at the 1912 Olympics. He actually was one of the few Jews that actually escaped the Holocaust and immigrated to Canada to escape the Holocaust. He also served in Germany in World War I and was awarded the Iron Cross. There's also Richard Wilstader, a German organic chemist who's worked here during this time. And also Heinrich Rudolf Hertz was actually here, lived here, and he helped invent electromagnetic waves. So there's quite a few famous people from around this area. And of course, finally, the last notable person is actually Carl Benz. He lived in this area and he helped build the patent for the motor car back in 1886. I think he studied him, did he not invent? Yeah, he discovered them, but he didn't invent them right away. Very good to see you, friend all. Hope you're doing well. That's probably correct. But Carl Benz studied here at Karlsruhe, and then he moved to Mannheim and became, well, the one who invented the car, and the rest is history for all you automobile lovers. But yeah, there's quite a few very famous German inventors and everything. I hope you're doing well, friends all. I'm in the extra 300 LT today. Yes, an aerobatic plane. Viper's actually in aerobatics. Who knew? So I hope you're doing well, my good friend, to all. Man, this area of Germany is absolutely beautiful. You got the Black Forest in the background. You have the Rhine. Well, it's basically the old taste of Germany. Hello, my good friend Floxtrot. Good to see you guys. Definitely check out my good friend Flox. Floxtrot, fantastic friend of the community. You guys definitely want to go check out Floxtrot. He does streams Wednesdays and Saturdays. It's Snaggless Kerbal has here. Snaggless Kerbal, good to see you. Oh, you've been working. No worries, my good friend. I'm glad you're here. So there's actually two things I want to talk about next, back to back. First is the town known as Hockenheim. It's actually in northwest Baden-Württemberg. It's actually located on the Upper Rhine Valley on the tourist routes known as the Baden Asparagus Route and the Bertha Benz Memorial Route. However, the town's most widely known for its race course, the Hockenheim Ring, which has hosted more than 30 Formula One German Grand Prix races since 1970. It's also one of the 6 largest towns in its own district, and has exceeded over 20,000 people. The history of here has been around back from the Roman times, actually lived in this area, but the name itself didn't appear, Hockenheim didn't appear until 1238. It was devastated by French troops in the 17th century. However, the reason it was called asparagus was because asparagus was cultivated here in the 20th century, which replaced a lot of the hops industry, and then of course the Hockenheim Ring was there. which is a very famous racetrack. And speaking of the Hockenheim Ring, well, the Hockenheim Ring is a very famous racetrack, by the way. This motor racing circuit has been around since the 1930s, but it's hosted lots of events. Most recently in 2019, it has very little differences in elevation, but the course has changed a few times. Previously, there's a lot more straight lines and all that, but nowadays it's more than since been much more curves, less straight, but much more curves and stuff compared to the original. But it's not just hosted Formula One races; it's hosted drag racing, Formula Wagon Masters, and even Rallycross has been held here. Heck, NASCAR was even here for its Euro Series for 3 years. For Formula One, the fastest course was done by Kimi Raikkonen from Finland. He raced his McLaren MP4 in 2004 with a time of 1 minute 13 seconds and 0.78 milliseconds. So we're gonna go ahead and I forgot, I passed over the track. Thankfully this thing accelerates really, really fast. Because we're just gonna blitz back. Hey, Snaggles Curveball, I see you up there. I see you in that F-22. I see you, my good friend. Yeah, that F-22. Oh, you love the old Hockenheim Ring. Yeah, Hockenheim definitely is one of the most memorable tracks here in Germany. Germany's got quite a few of them. The other one being the Nürburgring. Let's see how close we can get to the Hockenheim. Whoops. See, there's the Hockenheim Ring. So here it is, guys. There's the Hockenheim track. For all you guys, here's the track. All you racing car fans love this. You love this track. Let's get to the course for a second. Let's see if I can do a lap. Okay, lap start. We turn here. Blast through here. We do a really sharp bank and turn. Plane. And we made it across. And we made it across. We did a whole lap around Hockenheim Ring, guys. Woohoo! Yeah, that's why this plane's such a good plane. This thing is very aerobatic. Yeah, it can do crazy things, especially without the fly-by-wire. Yeah, fly-by-wire, you can do some absolutely crazy things in the F-22. Oh yeah, in addition to races, there's also been concerts held here. Michael Jackson did 2 shows here, Pink Floyd, AC/DC did 3 of them. Most recently, Ed Sheeran did shows here. But there's also some very fatal accidents. One of the most infamous was in 1968 with Jim Clark during a Formula 2 race. But there are also other ones, like Marcus Hottinger in 1980. Actually, 2 of them, because Patrick DePaler also passed away in 1980 due to a fatal accident. And the most recent was 2014 with Albert Fleming. But now we're getting... So now we're approaching, now we're approaching Mannheim, actually. But right next to it is the city of Ludwigshafen. To our left here. So some background, Ludwigshafen is literally known as Ludwigsport upon Rhine. It's opposite of the more famous Mannheim city, but this is very well known for being a very industrial city. I forgot to put notes for this. It's the home of BASF, the world's largest chemical producer is actually here, along with other companies, among it being the Staatsphilharmonie Rhineland-Pfalz. And it's known as the birthplace and death place of the former German Chancellor Helmut Kohl, who was the Chancellor of Germany from 1982 to 1998. And it's classified as a global city with high sufficiency status as well. And it's been around since the antiquity days. But the foundation of the modern city didn't start until the 1800s, mainly 1844. But it grew into a major commercial hub. And in fact, the city even played a big role in World War I for its war economy, mainly with the chemical greens for munitions. And yes, the infamous poison gas was often produced here as well. Then during World War II, the Allies bombed the city as well. Over 121 separate raids were dropped in the city. Post-war, it was rebuilt as a city. So that's a bit about Ludwigshafen. Which right here, there's Ludwigshafen down below. But then we're going to talk about the city right next to us. Now we're going to talk about the more famous of the two cities, that being Mannheim, actually, guys. So Mannheim, what's there to know about that city? So Mannheim is the second largest city in Baden-Württemberg after Stuttgart, the 21st largest city in Germany. It's the cultural and economic center of its region. It's unusual in a lot of German cities that it is very in a grid, which gives the city the nickname Square City or Quadrastadt. At the southern base is the Mannheim Palace, one of the largest palace complexes in the world, second only to the Palace of Versailles in France. But more than just that as well, it's also very famous for its university, which actually is known as the Harvard of Germany at the University of Mannheim. And of course, it's also very famous for its water tower, which is one of its great civil cities, which was completed in 1886. There's also its own interstate system, the Mannheim Hauptbahnhof as well. And it's even a major city of music during this time as well. It's a world city itself. Absolutely beautiful area here. Here, we're gonna go fly over Mannheim for a bit. It's a beautiful area. There's the radio tower on top of it, which is one of the other landmarks. But so definitely a beautiful area as well. So there's the palace. There's the palace complex. Massive. But that's not the real landmark we're going to be visiting here today. Actually, in-game POI. Believe it or not. But it's actually the most famous landmark here in the city. Believe it or not, one of its greatest landmarks. It's the Mannheim Water Tower, actually. So here's an interesting fact about this water tower, guys. So this water tower in German is a Wasserturm in German. But this landmark was actually built from 1886 to 1889 on Frederick Square by Gustav Palmhuber. The tower is about 60 meters high, or 180 feet, and 19 diameters, which is around 70-something meters. I believe it's around, it's about 57 meters. It is the first urban water tower in the city. It was originally met the required standards for drinking water supply. However, with the higher Luxembourg Tower, it served as an above-ground water tank until 2000. But this place has since been a major tourist hub, and it's a very popular meeting area during the summer as well, and it became very much a symbol of the city of Mannheim. Pretty cool stuff. And it's an absolutely beautiful water tower. I think you guys can agree just how stunning this water tower is. Beautiful. And yes, a solo handcrafted this, by the way, too. So you can definitely tell it's a very famous symbol when a solo decides to handcraft these. Let's just city a bit. We're gonna have our fun. Hey, US APR! I see you in Beechcraft. Good day, yeah, good day to you, USAPR. I hope you're doing well. Just taking the extra 300 LT, do some fun aerobatics and such. Doing right to the Orient Express, but I decided to have some bit of fun for today. Didn't want to take something boring, but I wanted to take something nice and fun. So there's the Mannheim City Airport, right next to us. There's been some daily flights, but mainly with the small turboprop airliners fly here due to its short runway. And because of its geographical location, it can't really be expanded very much. And finally, the last thing about it is its rail station, which is the Mannheim Hauptbahnhof. So this rail station, is the central railway station here in Mannheim. Basically, for those who don't know, Hauptbahnhof is the main station in German. It's the second largest traffic hub in southwest Germany after the one in Stuttgart, with 650 trains a day, including 238 long-distance trains. It's also a key station in the Rhine-Neckar S-Bahn, when over 100,000 passengers disembark and transfer between trains each day. It was modernized in 2001 and is categorized by Deutsche Bahn as a Category 2 train station. But the building itself has been around since 1840, believe it or not. However, after World War II, it was extensively rebuilt once again, but has since been a major part of Germany's railway hub and network. And it connects to all sorts of different stations here, including stations to Stuttgart as well. Mannheim-Stuttgart Railway, a high-speed railway here. Now that railway has been around since 1991. It's 99 kilometers long that connects between the cities of Mannheim and Stuttgart, built in 1991 by the Intercity Express railway station of Germany. And this map features where the curve should go. Now, we don't exactly follow it, but we do follow much of it from Heidelberg. So we've followed that railway straight to Stuttgart. And apparently these trains go pretty fast, actually. Because of their high speed of around 200 kilometers, they reduced time from 90 minutes to only about 44 minutes back in 91, and further increases the train speed, reduced it only to 35 minutes to get there between the two cities. Which makes it a great alternative to a lot of the flights. Which is pretty cool, if you ask me. And then from here, we'll be visiting the town right next to it. Heidelberg is going to be where we're going to go next, is the city of Heidelberg. So Heidelberg is next to... So Heidelberg is basically a city in the German state of Baden-Württemberg. It's right next to Mannheim. It's the 5th largest city in the state. It's well known for its university, Heidelberg University, Germany's oldest university and one of Europe's most reputable universities. It's also a major science hub in Germany and is home to several internationally renowned research facilities. So it's known as a city of literature and science. It was also a seat of government in the former electorate of the Palatinate during the Holy Roman Empire, and it's a very popular tourist destination because of its castle, Philosopher's Rock, and the Old Town. And Heidelberg features some pretty notable people, including Frederick Ebert, the first president of the Weimar Germany, Frederick V, the electoral Palatinate, and he was the King of Bohemia, known as the Winter King. And Michael Fassbender was born here in Heidelberg. But there's also other ones too. Former F1 driver Nelson Piquet was born here from here. And of course the fictional character Dr. Manhattan, if you ever read The Watchmen. But he was actually born here in Mannheim. He was actually born here at Heidelberg. He became known as the character known as Dr. Manhattan, and of course, it's also known for being also national hero of the Philippines. He actually lived much of his life here and was educated here. Jose Rizal. But yeah, quite a few famous people were either born or lived here. And speaking of Mannheim, I forgot to talk about Mannheim's famous people. But Mannheim itself has got quite a few famous people as well. And infamous people, if you don't mind me saying infamous people, but there's some pretty famous people from here. One of the most infamous people was Albert Speer, was born in Mannheim, but he was infamous for being but he was a Nazi architect, very infamous. But there's some very infamous Nazis here too. But ones who are less controversial, Frederick Engelhorn was the industrialist and founder of BASF, B-A-S-F. Investment banker Otto Kahn was born here. And finally, Henry Morgenthau Sr. was born here. An American politician and real estate investor was born here too. So, and of course, Julius Hatchery was also born here too, and he was an aircraft designer builder for the Germans. mainly the first purpose-built rocket plane. So yeah. A bit more exact than metal dome with an add-on it. Yes, absolutely. So guys, now I want to talk to you about something. So I'm part of an organization called Firefly Air. This is the virtual airline. I'm the senior commander of Firefly Air. This is our virtual airline group. So I want to talk about my promotion for the group. So we're the most growing of all the virtual airlines here, with over 220 people. So how do you exactly join this prestigious airline? First, you create an FS Hub account. FS Hub is completely free. You don't have to pay for any of it. And with Lane Rate Monitor, which comes up next, you have detailed flight reports, GPS tracking, pilot profiles, virtual airlines, screenshots, and even support about Xbox. So if you're an Xbox user, you don't have to worry about being left out. You're part of this too. Really awesome stuff. Once you create your account here, you just go here to Firefly Air and your airlines. It should be FFA is the ICAO. Then after you do that, you just submit your pilot application. You just wait until that guy named Tuto Murphy comes here and he agrees with your application. Then after this, next step, the landing rate monitor. Oh, and by the way, let me show you where we can do this. Then we download the landing rate monitor. This is also for free, and it is easy to install. It not only tracks your landing rate, but when you connect it to FS Hub, it enables to record all your flights, routes flown, and landing statistics. It also features GPS tracking and even a route planner, which will allow you to plan your routes for your FS Hub account, which is really cool. And this thing doesn't just work for here. You can even fetch it from SimBrief, or you can take it from a little MATLAB file. And finally, after you do that, you just download MSFS, FSUIPC, or XPUIPC, depending on if you're running Microsoft or XPlay. And once you do that, you're pretty much set. You're more than welcome to join the virtual airline anytime. I mean, as your senior commander, I would be taking you on this trip for today. We'll be blasting our way into Stuttgart. So guys, if you like what you see, do not be afraid to smash that follow button. For those who haven't followed, if you like what you're seeing, do not be afraid to smash that follow button. All support, any bit of support would be greatly appreciated. But I mean, you're not forced to, but it would be greatly appreciated. And by the way, if you do like it, I have a Discord in the chat. So we're doing leg 2 from Strasbourg to Munich. We're doing an FS Hub achievement, which is to complete the Orient Express. So, according to our route, we're about 192 nautical miles away from our destination here today. So we're doing so far so good here. Maybe I should be going a little slower. Man, this area is I love this area. This is pretty cool with all the forests. There's so many forests around this part of Germany. So actually, let's talk about our next city stop. This will be our first major city we're going to be visiting outside of Mannheim. This is the city of Stuttgart. So Stuttgart is the capital and largest city of the German state of Baden-Württemberg. Located in the Neckar River, it is the sixth largest city in Germany with over 635,000 people, with over 5 million living in the metropolitan area, making it the fourth largest in all of Germany. It was the host city for the 1974 and 2006 FIFA World Cup. It's unusual in a lot of things about German cities. It's kind of unusual. For one, it's spread across a valley of hills, which is covered in vineyards and valleys. But the thing Stuttgart is most famous for is being the cradle of the modern automobile. You see, it's home to many famous automobile museums and magazines, especially the Mercedes-Benz and Porsche museums. And it gives Stuttgart the nickname Germany's Auto Hauptstadt, car capital city. In addition to this as well, Stuttgart has been around since the 7th millennium BC and is host to a number of cultures utilizing the rich soil of the valley, including the Romans, the Germanic tribes, the Holy Roman Empire, and even the modern day Germany as well. Stuttgart has prospered despite setbacks in the 30s War and World War II. However, by the 50s, it bounced back and became a major center for economic, industrial, tourism, and publishing. The major center for that. There are many corporations headquartered here, including Porsche, Bosch, which is known for its engineering company, and Mercedes-Benz as well. It's also important for financial, as it's home to Germany's second largest stock exchange, the Stuttgart Stock Exchange. In the Landesbank Baden-Württemberg, the largest Landesbank here in Germany. So this city is absolutely one of Germany's most important cities. We're going to be coming here pretty soon. So, so there is that. So I hope you guys want to ask, do you guys have any big plans for this weekend and all that? Or any big plans for the rest of the week? So for me at least, I gotta work on for Sunday City Tour. I was thinking I have to go somewhere in Europe for today, for Sunday. I was thinking about doing somewhere in France or Italy. Most likely probably in France. I was thinking about going to probably Marseille and doing a city tour there. I was thinking either Marseille or probably that would be one of my cities, or in Spain, maybe Barcelona. Find the Drifter full variant by mistake. Oh yeah, the Drifter is such a good ultralight. It's the best payware one you can get in the sim. The fantastic payware ultralight. It's so fun. Just too much fun. Yeah, there's a lot of places I've been going, or Germany. I think the places for Sunday, I think I'm suggesting either Marseille would be one. I was thinking about Marseille. I don't think I'm going to do Paris. Paris would be a two-part thing. But I was thinking Paris maybe. I was thinking about maybe just Marseille. I mean, that's kind of, I don't know what I'm probably thinking for Sunday, though. Quite honest. Like I said, there's many directions I can go. Or maybe I stay in the United States, I don't know. I'll probably wait and tell you guys when I get there. So the first major stop we're going to visit here is one part of the cradle of the automobile, and this is the Porsche Museum here at Stuttgart. It's on the site of the car maker of Porsche, which is here in Stuttgart. The original museum opened back in 1976 on a side road near the factory, and they built it as kind of a rolling museum, but nowadays it's a permanent museum here next to the company headquarters. This museum features over 5,600 square meters with over 80 different exhibits, including many rare cars and historical models made by Porsche. This includes some of their most famous racing cars and some of the most famous automobiles. And for guys who don't know about Porsche, Porsche is one of the most famous car makers from Germany. Obviously, their most famous model are the 911 models. The Porsche 911, and if you wonder why they look so similar, Porsche does not change their design much on their 911s, if you've noticed. Anyone who's been around cars for long enough would probably know. But in addition to that as well, Porsche makes a bunch of other models. They make the Cayman 2C Coupe, they make the Cayenne SUV, and the estate car, the Porsche Panorama. But they make all sorts of different racing cars and prototype concept cars as well. But they make all sorts of different automobiles and stuff too. So if you love cars, Porsche would be really cool. So the Porsche Museum is down here, and then right next to it is literally the Porsche factory. So we're flying over the Porsche factory. Here's the museum right next to it. Unfortunately, Stuttgart doesn't have full grammetry, unfortunately. But then we're going to fly next is to the main station here at Stuttgart. Oh, they made the 19 Spider. Yep, they also made the Porsche 959 as well. And believe it or not, it was originally a rally car, funnily enough, but the Group B rallying was canceled, so they didn't do that. So we're going to be visiting the Stuttgart Hauptbahnhof, the main primary rail station for Stuttgart. It's the largest regional long-distance railway in the city. It's located in the northeast end of Königstrasse, the main pedestrian zone in the city center. It's the terminus for all of the other stations. However, there's been a lot of issues going on with it because of the Stuttgart 21 project. That's been a lot of controversy. But apparently they start construction on it and it won't be ending until 2025. And they started all the way back in 2010. They also have lots of cubes nested symmetrically and asymmetrically, and it's integrated into the planning of the city itself, by the way. Hey, I caught running a few errands. I hope you're having a great stream. Thank you so much, Chronico. Thanks for coming along on today. I really do appreciate it. I hope to see you again soon. So take care, my good friend. So all this area here is downtown Stuttgart. So this is all downtown. As you can see here, there's lots of hills and valleys around this area. Some of them are vineyards, so we're in the downtown area. And then once we visit downtown again, we'll be visiting the other car manufacturer museum known as Mercedes-Benz. Mercedes-Benz Museum came around back in 2006. It covers the history of the entire Mercedes-Benz brand. That's, after all, Stuttgart's home to the brand itself. It was the inventor of the automobile. The current building stands outside the factory here. It features 16,500 square foot of exhibition space. It contains more than 160 vehicles, some dating back to the earliest days of the motor car engine. And they feature lots of different very famous Mercedes-Benz. And for guys who don't know, when people think of luxury cars from Germany, they think of Mercedes-Benz. I mean, the brand's made some after all, Mercedes-Benz was the first combustion engine for cars. The Mercedes-Benz is a legendary. They make all sorts of different models. They make all sorts of classes. They made the E-Class saloon. They make the very famous G-Class off-road vehicle, the G-Wagon. Everyone knows that as. They also make the AMG GT sports car, as well as those are the current models, but they made a lot of very historic models. They made tons of very historic models. For example, the 600 model series, the Grand Mercedes ultra luxury cars that were produced from the 1960s. And I think for most people, the most famous model of Mercedes-Benz. And when most people think of classic Mercedes, the 300 SL, produced in 1954, only 3,000 of these have been built. And it is famous, or infamous, depending on who you ask, for its doors. Because unlike most doors that pull open, these are gull wing doors. Gull wings. It's a gull wing door. And the SL300 is the most famous car model that actually has this sort of thing. And while there are many cars with it, by far the most famous has been the 300 SL. So yeah, that is about Mercedes-Benz, and then right next to it is the Mercedes-Benz Arena here in Stuttgart. This arena is home to the Bundesliga club, VfB Stuttgart. It's hosted matches of the 1974 and in 2004 FIBA World Cup. It's actually been built all the way back. Get this. This arena was actually built in 1897, but it opened all the way back in 1933. Currently the seat capacity right now for league matches is 60,441 people, but for international matches it is nearly 55,000. There are 4 sections of stands in the arena or stadium. It's you have the Karcher turbine, the opposite stands, the main stand known as the Haupttribüne. They have the Konstanter curve, and the Unterturkheim curve here as well. And here's the stadium for guys who are interested. Here it is. Here's the stadium, Mercedes-Benz Arena. If you guys are more interested, here it is. Here's another nice thing about the extra. I mean, because of its total glass cockpit, you have great visibility, so you can see all this. So there's the arena. There it is. There's the arena. Now we're going to get past. Let's do the next area. Following the trail stations again. So we're going to be visiting the town known as Waiblingen. Waiblingen's actually been around for a long time. It's been mentioned all the way back in 1885 at the time of King Charles the Fat, actually. He was the emperor of the Carolingian Empire, and he was the last emperor of legitimate birth to the Franks as well. It was property of the Salian kings during the medieval times. During the siege of Weinsberg in 1140, Waiblingen became a Rhineklai, and it became actually the name of it. The town was completely destroyed. It was almost destroyed in 1634 during the 30 Years' War. However, everything's now been restored, and the thing is most famous now. Waiblingen's most famous for, well, being the home of multinational corporation Still actually makes their home here at Waiblingen. And of course, it's also the letter processing center for the region of Deutsche Post, Germany's national newspaper. That's get back on track. Yeah, sometimes this thing doesn't have autopilot. I wish this thing had autopilot, but now we're gonna blast through some of the hills and valleys here in Germany, so this should be good. So I forgot to mention some famous so some pop culture stuff. The Avengers, some very famous notable people. There's tons of notable people here. This includes artists like Gustav Schwab, for example. There's also many athletes as well born here, scientists. There's all sorts of people here from more historical lawyers, theologians, military residents. Yeah, lots of very well-known people and infamous people too. Yeah, it's very beautiful here. Let's go ahead and do some showcase camera. Let's pull on the showcase for a little bit so you guys can actually see the scenery. We have Oscar Arm here. We have Silver Streak and all the rest. Pilot. Go ahead and blitz through all this. So we are about 151 nautical miles from our destination here. And just look at this place. This is a lot of fun. Well, if you like the mountain flying, because next week is going to be more fun. We're going to be going through some bits of the Austrian mountains and all that. We get to see a bit about Austria all the way to Vienna. Yeah, very peaceful journey here today. Great piece of flying for today. Let's do some flying upside down. Okay. this kind of disorienting, guys. Look at this. Upside down. Blitzing through the rest of this. Should be getting there. So we're gonna go climb up through Schwarzbisch Guman, many of the other towns here on the banks of the Rems River. So it's a bit of news, something else I've been wanting to think about. The question is what to do now for my plans for the week. To work on Sunday Street. The question is, where do I want to go? I want to do more international cities, but if I want to do some of the major cities like Berlin or Paris or Vienna, I might have to do extra weeks. I may have to do 2 weeks because those cities, A, have lots of history that I want to cover, and 2, they have lots of landmarks. So that would take time. So maybe I stick to the United States or something, maybe for the next one. Maybe I was thinking about maybe going to Denver, probably. Denver would be one I was thinking of, maybe, or maybe Vegas, probably. Vegas would be a good one to do. But yeah, there's a lot of ways I can go for Sunday, so. We're getting ready to turn right here for a little bit and get back into the valley a bit more. This definitely is a very beautiful line here in Germany. Very, very nice line. There's a barrel roll, there's an aileron roll. Go for a loop. And we made it. There's the loop. Yeah, we can do this because this is a very acrobatic plane. But I also don't like to crash into the ground, or that will completely ruin my progress and I have to start this fight all over again. There's Alan. All right, there's the town of Auden. We'll be turning right here soon. So here it is, and we'll be turning right down soon. Or I do have crash mode off. Remember, Typhon, I got the lane rate monitors. If I crash, it will automatically log the flight, and I have to do this all over because of it. That's something you're not getting, Typhon. That's... incredible. Just incredible. Can you get better than this? Going through the hills and valleys of Germany in a German-built plane? I mean, you can't get much better than this. I mean, and that's a fact. Just doing some pretty cool maneuvers. Did a backwards reverse. we're now going to be approaching the town of Tianjin. This will be the first slideshow we're going to be talking about in quite a while. There's a bit of interesting facts about Tianjin. So this town was actually a former free imperial city here in eastern Baden-Württemberg. It's on the eastern edge of the Swabian Alps. It's the hometown of the Margaret Steph Corporation. Now, if you're wondering why that's important, it's because they're the ones who have invented the modern teddy bear. Now, it's one of the main feeder routes of the Compostela Trail, known as the Way of St. James. And it's visited each year by increasing walking pilgrims on their way to Santiago de Compostela. But this has been around since the days of the Holy Roman Empire as a free imperial city until the 1800s. Some pretty notable people include Jacob Herbrand, Margaret Steph, the founder of the toy factory The Steve, and someone much more infamous, but Ulrich Herrlinger was actually from here, and he was an infamous mass murderer as well for the Nazis. There's the town of Jiaxing. So, Jiaxing. So for Jiaxing, we're going to go ahead and turn this way. So we're going to go down here and continue straight ahead. And once we're going to hang a right 239 degrees to the right. We're about almost 100 miles out from our destination, so we don't have much farther to go. Yeah, I've had a blast in this journey. I had a lot of fun doing a lot of the aerobatics. We're going to blast through here. So we're going to talk about the next place. We're going to be heading towards the city of Ulm. I believe Ulm. But this German state is located in Baden-Württemberg. It has over 126,000 people. It has a very rich history and traditions. as a former free imperial city that was founded around 850. Today is very much a economic center due to its various industries. Internationally, it's known for having the church with the tallest steeple in the world, the Minster, which is the 5th tallest structure built before the 20th century, over 530 feet tall. And it's also world famous for being the birthplace of a certain scientist known as Albert Einstein, if you guys don't know. One of the greatest physicists and most influential scientists of all time. The city is divided into 18 different districts, and none of them were integrated during the most recent reform in the 1970s. It has lots of history. As well, but the city was very significant for being the place for a lot of the medieval German kings on their travels. It also became a city of craftsmen during the 14th century. During the French Revolution, it was occupied by both French and Austrian forces. Now, after World War II, most of the city was rebuilt in the style of the 50s and 60s. However, some of the historical landmarks have been restored. And it received a lot of growth during the decades following World War II, with lots of companies like Dahmer, Siemens, and Nokia offered a lot of institutes and all that for research. And there's lots of other different companies here too. There's a lot of different sites. Obviously, the Old Minster is a very famous church that was built around. It was actually the Old Minster. Here's a funny fact about this church, funny enough. The church was actually, get this. Here's the funny thing. It was originally constructed back in 1377, and it wasn't completed until 1890. Over 500 years. They took 500 years to build this thing. Yes, it took 500 years to get this thing built. It's pretty insane how much that was for that minister. But that's not the only main site. There's also the old town hall known as the Rothhaus, built in 1370. There's the Krone Inn that was built during the medieval times. And then Wimbledon Abbey was also there too, some very famous historical sites. There's also contemporary ones too, and all sorts of different memorials. But obviously, some of the most notable people we know, Albert Einstein was born here, but he wasn't the only one that was born in the city. Max Benetel, the father of the Wankel rotary engine, was born here in 1909. Flight pioneer Albert Erblinger, born as famous for the work of hang glider. I was born in 1770. And finally, Nicholas Friedman, who was actually a conquistador in Venezuela and Colombia, and he founded the city of Bogota, the capital of Colombia. Are people born in? There's even more people born in it. Sophia Scholl, who was an anti-Nazi political activist, was born here as well. And there's quite a few other people resorted here too. And Robert Bosch was also associated with the city as well. So definitely some very famous people as well. So we need to head back. I get lost. It's just easy to forget where I'm going because one more hour till Nerf's news. Actually, I don't think Murph is gonna do the news again. I don't think so. I don't know if he's announced this yet, but he might be streaming instead tomorrow because I don't know. He had something going on with work. He told me, but he hasn't posted anything yet. So there you go. Now, Ulm has also got its own central station too, as well. This is the main station of the city, known as Ulm Hauptbahnhof. It provides a lot of destinations and stuff throughout Germany and all the rest, especially as a hub for long distance and regional services here. It operates a lot of lines and stuff through many different cities in the area as well. But this place was first established all the way back in 1850. Lots of different railway stations. They operate lines from Stuttgart to Munich, but also to other cities like Paris to Budapest, Linz, and more. And one of the main railways that has been aligned with the city is actually the Ulm-Augsburg Railway, which is what we're going to be following next. This railway line was constructed as part of Bavarian Maximilian's Railway, which was built between the east-west of the Bavarian border with Württemberg. It was originally built all the way back in the 1840s to 1864. In 1851, they built a line connecting the cities. It currently ran for 84 kilometers or 52.8 miles, and it wasn't finished until 1854. The line today is a major traffic access. Every hour or two, they run from Munich via Augsburg and Ulm to Stuttgart. So they operate this line throughout much of the journey. So that is the main railway we're going to be following for the trip, for at least this part of it. And then right next to this is going to be the city of Gunsberg. I believe Gunsberg, that's how you pronounce it. Gunsberg is actually right across the border into Bavaria. It's part of the Großstadt district, which is basically small German states. It's the capital of the Swabian district of Gunsberg. It has a population of over 20,000 people. It's where the river Gunz enters the Danube, which I'll discuss next week. In fact, Leyland, Germany is located here in the city, but this place has been around since 70 BC by the Romans actually founded it to defend their borders of the land along the Danube. The name comes from that of the Celtic goddess of Gonita. After the Romans left, the Alemanni tribe settled here and developed one of the castles, and then in 1301 it became part of the Habsburg House of the Habsburgs, and they kept all of it until the 1800s. In October 9th, Gunsberg, the Battle of Gunsberg happened in 1805, which Napoleon defeated the Austrians. In World War II, Gunsberg was bombed by the Allies and they were severely damaged and destroyed the city. Gunsberg has since been post-war been a thriving downtown shopping area for the historic castle. And some very notable people include Fred Benninger, an executive of several companies, Stefano Solosi from BFL Bochum. And of course, actually, most infamously, Duisburg was the birthplace of one of the most infamous people in World War II. One of the worst war criminals in that entire war. Yes, Josef Mengele, known as the Angel of Death. Absolutely, if you want to read some of the files, I'm not going to talk about it here, but Josef Mengele, a very infamous person. Very, very, very infamous. I'm not going to mention here on this stream too much, but he did some absolutely horrible things. I mean, just beyond to barbaric, almost. Okay, try to keep this family friendly, okay? But yeah, we're not too far away. We actually only have 75 miles left. We're about 75 miles away from our destination here. To our destination here in Munich. And down here, guys, is the Danube. I'll post more information about it next week. But the Danube River is Europe's second longest river after the Volga. It flows all throughout Western and Central Europe. It flows through Germany into Austria. Germany, Austria, Slovakia, Hungary, Croatia, Serbia, Bulgaria, and Romania. That's where the river flows throughout. It's home to a lot of different freshwater species fish, like the northern pike, as well as catfish. It has been a major trade route since ancient times all throughout Europe. I'll discuss more next week, but that is for just the basics for all you guys to know about the Danube. It's an absolutely beautiful day here in Germany. But yeah, I hope you guys are liking this adventure so far. And I hope you guys actually learned something or thing or two about one of my streams. I know I work very hard every single day. So we just turn left and we'll be reaching to the next city. We're going to be visiting Augsburg today. So Augsburg is going to be our next city. But I do like flying this thing. It's nice to actually fly some different besides things with autopilot. So I'm planning on next week to Austria. I was thinking from Vienna to there, probably taking maybe a German plane like a Diamond DV-20. I said this before, I can say it again, you're the flight sim historian. Yep. I appreciate it. I appreciate the support. I just want to make sure you guys are enjoying this so far. I don't want to put any content that people will not enjoy. we're just going to blitz through this. Now let's go ahead and talk about the city of Augsburg. Augsburg, guys. So this Augsburg is located in Swabia, Bavaria, 31 miles west of Munich. It's well known as a university town and a regional seat of Schwaben. It's the third largest city in the state of Bavaria, behind Munich and Nuremberg, with over 300,000 inhabitants, with 885 in its metropolitan area. It's actually one of the oldest cities in Germany, after Neuss, Trier, Cologne, and Zaten, founded in 15 BC by the Romans Augusta Vindelicorum, and it was named after the Roman emperor of the time, Augustus. It was a free imperial city of the Holy Roman Empire from 1276 to 1803, and it was home to two particular families, the Fugger and Welser families that dominated European banking in the 16th century. This city played a leading role in the Protestant Reformation as the site of the 1530 Augsburg Confession and the 1555 Peace of Augsburg. The oldest social housing complex in the world, the Fuggerei, was founded here in 1513. In 2019, UNESCO recognized the water management system as a World Heritage Site. But yeah, this area in particular is quite important if you're a history kind of person. Despite the increasing tensions of the 30 Years' War, religious peace still happened until the 30 Years' War still happened. But this place was quite important. During the Second World War, Augsburg was the largest manufacturer for U-boat engines during this time. It became the target of the Augsburg raid. But yeah, there's a lot of main sites here in the city. They include, obviously, the Fuggerei, but there's also the old town hall that was built in 1620. The Cathedral of Augsburg that was founded in the 9th century. And the Maximilian Museum that was housed in 1546. So there's some pretty famous people that were born here in Augsburg. There's some pretty famous ones. Obviously, the Fugger family that was born here. Jakob Fugger in particular was a very famous notable banker during this time. Then there's a certain guy named Leopold Mozart. He was a German composer, but he is most well known for being the father of a certain legendary composer named Wolfgang Mozart. For guys who don't know. And of course, one of the most famous people was actually born from Poland. He was a Polish Jew. Mitek Pemper. He compiled Oskar Schindler's List that saved 1,200 Jewish prisoners from the Holocaust. There's other people too. There's plenty of other famous people around here too, including Alexander Weskely, the lead singer of the German band Icebreaker. Well, or Icebreaker, I believe it's in German. But there's definitely some pretty well-known people I do want to talk about. So that's going to be for Augsburg. There's the city down below us. There's Augsburg. So here it is. The historic city of Augsburg is going to be down here upon us. I'm glad. I hope you. There you go, guys. So yeah, some very notable people. And I love chatting and learning about. Like I said, Germany's got lots of very well-known people. So here is the city of Augsburg, right ahead of us. the main train station here is the Augsburg Hauptbahnhof, the main station. It is a Category 2 station classified by Deutsche Bahn. There's 12 platform tracks, and believe it or not, this station here is among the oldest in the country, built from 1843 to 1846. It's currently being modernized nowadays, with an underground tram system being built during this time. It currently operates many different routes, but mainly it's part of many different other train stations, mainly to Munich, mostly in the city of Munich, but our other ones are to like Hamburg, Kiel, or even Berlin. There are quite a few other famous different railroads. And yes, Augsburg does have photogrammetry actually, so we can definitely see some bit of the historic city. It turns out American cities are not the only ones who are not very sprawled out, even the Germans too. And yeah, once we do this, we could turn right and we could head our way to Munich. Our final destination in Munich. Unspin. And we're gonna do the train stations. Blast this thing. So we are about 48 nautical miles out from our final stop here. Into Munich. So I'm going to go ahead and discuss a little bit about Munich, about the one of the most iconic cities in all of Germany, Munich. So there's hey Balmer, good to see you, Balmer01. Oh, it's great to see you, my good friend. I hope you're doing well. So we're here late too. We're about 40 something nautical miles out of Munich, the capital and largest city in Bavaria. So if you want to join in, I'm on the East USA server. Our closest near airport is going to be Echo Delta Mike Alpha. And I'm here right now to discuss about the city of Munich. So what's there about Munich to know about? Well, I discussed more about my City Tour series, but Munich is the capital, most populous city in Bavaria, with over 1.5 million inhabitants. It's Germany's third largest city after Berlin and Hamburg, as well as the 11th largest city in the European Union. Its metropolitan region is home to nearly 6 million people. Situated on the banks of the river Isar, it is the seat of the Bavarian administrative region of Upper Bavaria, and it's the most densely populated municipality in Germany. Over 4,500 people per square kilometer. It was first mentioned all the way back in 1158. Catholic Munich resisted a lot of the Reformation and was a political point of divergence during the result of the 30 Years' War. Once Bavaria was its own kingdom, Munich became a major European center of arts, architecture, culture, and science. During the German Revolution in 1918, the House of Wieselbach was forced to abdicate. During the 20s, it home to many political factions, including the most infamous, the Nazis, obviously. The NSADAP, the Nazis, obviously. And Munich was the capital of their movement during this time. During World War II, it was heavily bombed by the Allies, but restored most of its traditional cityscape after the war. And post-war, the population has increased, its economic power grew, especially during the years of the economic miracle known as the Wirtschaft Wonder, is what they call it. It hosted the 1972 Munich Olympics, which I think we all know what happened during that Olympic, one of the events there. And then it was also one of the host cities of the 1974 and 2006 FIFA World Cups. Today, Munich is a global center of art, science, technology, finance, and more. In fact, it has one of the highest standards of landing in all of Germany, being first in Germany and third worldwide, according to a global merger survey. It's one of the most expensive cities in all of Germany in terms of real estate prices. And Munich's economy is based off high-tech automobiles and creative industries, along with other sectors. With one of the strongest economies of any German city, Germany this part is extremely wealthy. And of course, it's home to many other museums, like the Deutsches Museum, which is the world's largest museum of science and technology, and the BMW Museum, which is all about BMW, of course. Not to mention, there's also the Oktoberfest as well, held here. Of course, Oktoberfest is also held here too. So yeah, Munich is an app. Can I join in these flights? Bomber, you're more than welcome to join me on this flight, Bomber. You're more than welcome. You're always welcome to join along with me today on these flights. Bomber, you're always welcome. I absolutely love people flying with me, so Bomber, you're always more than welcome. You're free to join me anytime you want. You're free to join. So once we reach Munich, I'll be going around the city for a little bit. We're gonna fly around the city of Munich. There's tons of museums here in Munich. I'll discuss more when I do a city tour series here, but there's tons of museums, historical landmarks. Of course, festivals are big too. And of course, everyone knows beer. Munich's a massive part of beer. And nightlife too. There's also lots of different universities and everything. Lots of transport around here too. Munich's also well known for its big old international airport as well. And there's lots of places for recreation too, because you're right on the base of the Alps. And of course, people from Munich, there's a lot of them. Oh, what's this? Hey, a Bonias player has rated the stream with 7 viewers. A Bonias player, great to see you, my friend. I hope you had a great stream. I saw your stream earlier today. You were taking the Boeing 737 from Frankfurt to Rome. Ah, Rome. Rome is such a wonderful city. Rome is absolutely incredible, beautiful city. Rome has so much history. It's not funny. If you're a history nut, Rome is definitely one of your cities you want to check out. So guys, definitely check out Abania's player. Abania's player 200. Definitely check out his stream. Friends of the community as well. Thank you so much. I hope you had a fantastic flight. So we're heading our way to Munich. This is leg 2 of our Orient Express journey for FS Hub for Firefly Air. But if you're more than welcome to join me, take a plane that can at least reach 170 knots. And the closest airport is Echo Tango Sierra Foxtrot, which is on the top right corner of your screen. Is the closest airport. Birth the Romans? Yes, the Romans. Yes, Romans have so much tradition. But some very famous people, entertainment stars. Wolfgang Rütherman was known for a lot of the animation Disney movies. You have Christian Neubauer as well. You have famous musicians, including the former Megadeth drummer Nick Menza. Was born here, along with many other composers. You have all sorts of journalists, Nobel Prize literates born here. You have professional athletes, including Phil Lamb, part of Bayern Munich. You have lots of nobilities. And you also have some really infamous people born here too. Some very infamous people here born too, along with many different famous residents. There's so many residents. Vladimir Lenin actually was a resident here in Munich for a couple of years. He was actually a resident, funnily enough. The founder of the modern Soviet Union. Albert Einstein grew up here in Munich. Of course, Arnold Schwarzenegger resided in Munich for 2 years. Famous actor and governor too. The Queen of Disco, Donna Summer, was a resident here. And of course, well, being part of the infamous movement of the Nazis, I'm not going to be pretty much blunt. Yes, Hitler was also a resident here too. That's enough. I'm not going to talk about any more of that. Just being honest. Just. Oh, you're off to have lunch with your fiance? Oh, thank you so much, Abanius player, for coming around the raid today. Thank you so much for taking me to raid. Awesome Lilium Jet coming in 2015. Abanius used to live here. No, he did not used to live here. Bravo Juliet Tango. Actually, I visited his hometown of Tampa, by the way. He actually came in Tampa. So we're about near ready to enter Munich. We got 7.9, and we'll just fly around the city and make our way to the airport. Because after we get to Munich, our next city we're going to be visiting is Vienna in Austria, or Wien, if you're part of Austrian German, or Wien. I think I see downtown Munich over in this direction. Introducing the first vertical landing object. Really? Oh, it's a new jet. Let me look that up. The first electric-powered jet? Oh, I've seen that. I think I've seen this before. The Lilium Jet, eVTOL jet. Zero emissions Lilium Jet. Oh, that's pretty cool. Space interior, 4C conversion, high-speed goods delivery. Oh, that's a pretty interesting little jet. That's cool. It's a prototype jet built here in Germany. Oh, so here's some things according to the performance things. It's gonna have a max speed of 160 knots, cruise at 150, and a range of 160 nautical miles. Okay, that's interesting. That's really interesting. I didn't know about that. That's a cool one. Really, really cool. So we're gonna go into the main train station here in Munich. We're gonna enter the main train station here at Munich Hauptbahnhof. It's the main train station here in Munich. It's the central train station here. It's one of 3 stations with long distance services here in the city. It sees about 450,000 passengers a day. A station in its current site was originally opened in 1849. It was rebuilt multiple times, including the one that was damaged by World War II. It is a Category 1 station, one of 21 in the country, and the second in Munich. And it goes through all sorts of different line services as well throughout Germany. There's over 36 different platforms with tons of train services going across Munich, including being part of the U-Bahn too, which is the underground railroads operating from Munich. Welcome to Munich. The tons of museums down there. If you're a history guy, you're gonna love this place, or technology. But we're going to visit one of the two major landmarks here for our trip. We're going to be visiting the Olympic Stadium Berlin, Olympia Stadium here in Munich, and the other one being Allianz Arena. Here it is. So here is the first of the POIs. And this is the Olympic Stadium here in Munich. The Munich Olympic Stadium. Here it is. Yeah, this here. Now this Olympic Stadium was actually the original home of This actually was the original home for FC Bayern Munich during the time of the 70s, but this stadium was originally opened in 1968. It opened in 1972 for the 1972 Summer Olympics in Munich. It also hosted many of the major football matches of the 1974 FIFA World Cup Final and the UEFA 1988 Final, along with other European Cup finals in 79, 1993, and 1997. It currently has a capacity of 69,250 people, and it was the home of FC Bayern Munich from 1972 to 2005, along with TSV 1860 Munich. But also in addition to this as well, besides just football, obviously, another interesting fact is this also was the home of the DTM car services. They actually held a race here in the Olympic Stadium, believe it or not. For 2 years, they actually held racetracks here, and it was hosted to many famous concerts, from Genesis to Pink Floyd to the Rolling Stones, AC/DC, and more held concerts here at the Olympic Stadium here in Munich. Now, I want to talk to you guys. So, why do I think the 1972 Olympics were controversial here in Munich? Well, because in that Olympics was held one of the most infamous dark days of infamy of any of the Olympics, the Munich Massacre. For guys that don't know about the Munich Massacre, this happened during the Olympics, where members of the Palestinian National Organization, the Black September, held Israeli athletes there, and due to the ineffectiveness of the German counter-terrorists, 17 people were killed, including Israeli coaches, athletes, and more. And it was truly one of the darkest days of any member of the Olympics. One of the darkest members of all of it. It was truly a very infamous event here in the Olympics. So over here is BMW. This is where BMWs are made. You can see here, BMW, Bavarian Motor Works is what they call it. BMW, if you guys know your automobiles, BMW is one of the 3 major German car manufacturers behind Mercedes-Benz and Audi. And they make all sorts of different cars. They're most famous for making their M series cars, the M3, the M5, and more. They also make other cars too, historically as well. But BMWs are very famous, and that's what led to the name of the Beamers, Paisley BMW. And finally, for our last landmark here in Munich is Allianz Arena, which we know is the current home of FC Bayern Munich. international matches, the arena is actually known as Football Arena Munich because, you know, UEFA is not allowed to have commercial sponsorships for non-partners. FC Bayern Munich has played home games here since 2005. It's definitely very well known for its ETFC plastic panels, which makes it the first stadium in the world with a full color changing exterior. It has a seat capacity around 75,000 for domestic matches, but 70,000 for international matches. It's also played by the German national football team. It's used in many events, including the 2006 FIFA World Cup, UEFA Euro 2020, and 2024. And it would be used for the Champions League final in 2025. So here it is, guys. Allianz Arena. Now here's something really cool by this. Now, to show you what I'm talking about with the illuminating, oh, there's Mark too. Oh, I see you, Mark. So watch this. Here's something really cool. We got our lights. Let's turn this to nighttime. Let's see the arena color change. Look at that. Look at the color. It changed to red. It changed to the red color. Isn't that cool? The arena literally changed colors to red. Isn't that cool? I wonder if we could change certain dates. Look at this, July. Look at this. It turns blue in July. Look at this. There's July. Isn't that cool, guys? So it is like a real life. This thing actually changes color. Isn't that cool, everyone? Also, let's check the arena itself. Let's see what it looks like on the inside, shall we? This is what the arena looks like. It's one of the coolest football stadiums in Europe. Look at that big old 75,000 fans arena. Here's the thing, though. That may be one of the biggest in Germany, but that's not even top 10 in the United States, mind you. But it illuminates for two of Bayern Munich's colors, red and blue. But for guys who don't know about Bayern Munich, it's one of the most famous professional association football teams in the world. They are the winningest team in its own sports league, Bundesliga, winning 32 national titles in Germany, including 10 straight since 2013, 20 national cups, and even more. Bayern Munich is one of 5 clubs to win all 3 of the main club competitions of UEFA. They won a sextuple amount of FIFA Club World Cups. And they're considered by many to be one of the most famous sports clubs in all of it as well. They're truly one of the greatest soccer clubs in the entire world. Especially their football program, especially their football. They're extremely successful. And they're also one of the most valuable sports teams on the planet. In fact, they are 11th in the current ranking of sports teams, which they have it's worth 4.2 billion US dollars. And of course, as well, they also have rivals like 1860 Munich, and its chief European rivals include Real Madrid, AC Milan, and Manchester United. They also have a lot of high-profile supporters, including Pope Benedict XVI, Boris Becker, and Edmund Stoiber, a former minister-president of Bavaria. So yeah, this is absolutely a very famous club, FC Bayern Munich. And finally, the last slide for tonight's stream is going to be Munich International Airport. Echo Delta Mike Mike. Munich International Airport. It was actually opened all the way back in 1992. As the main international airport for Munich. It is the second busiest airport in all of Germany, behind Frankfurt, Europe's 9th busiest, handling 47.9 million passengers in 2019. In terms of international passenger traffic, it is 15th and 38th busiest airport worldwide when both you have domestic and international traffic. It's a hub for the German flag carrier Lufthansa, with many of its subsidiaries, mainly Eurowings and Lufthansa City Line, but also as a base for Condor Airlines and Firefly Deutschland. The airstrip is actually known as Strasbourg Airport. It was named after Franz Joseph Strauss. There's also 2 facilities. There's also 2 runways with extensive cargo and more. As well, it's also got equipment that can handle the mighty Airbus A380, and according to Flight Connections, by the way, airports. So Germany, let's see, Munich, by the way. Let me go on Flight Connections for a bit, because I love this website. Flight Connections is so awesome. Because it lets you show all these airline flights. So Munich has tons of flights from around the world. There's 15 domestic flights here in Munich. But there's also more than 216 destinations in 64 countries, by the way, including Europe, Asia, the Middle East, Africa, South America, and in North America. The only continent they don't fly is Australia. The longest route in Munich is from Munich to Singapore, flown by Singapore Airlines and Lufthansa, which is around over 6,000 miles. Which is about 6,000 miles of flight. It takes about 11 hours and 50 minutes. But they also do tons of other flights and routes. The most busiest destinations include Hamburg, Dusseldorf, Frankfurt, Amsterdam, and London Heathrow. And they do tons of flights from Munich into the United States, but also United Airlines, Delta, and American Airlines as well. But they do tons of flights all around the world. They fly to Tel Aviv, Athens, Rome. They fly everywhere. But yeah. So we're actually here in Munich, guys. Welcome to the airport. We're going to go ahead and make our landing. Guys, I want you all in the chat to get involved in this. Let's predict my landing rate for today. Exclamation point predict. Put in a negative number. So make sure you guys get the predictions down. Oh, you're still downloading the updates. Oh, I hope that goes all right for you, Balmer. So here it is, guys. So which runway do you guys want me to land? Runway 08 right or 08 left? Which guys do you want me to take? I guess I'm gonna land runway 08 right. So, oh, 95 gigs. 95 gigs! Oh my gosh! Any runway, alright. Let's do this. Oh my goodness, Balmer. 95 gigs? Oh no, that's gonna take you all day. I'm so sorry. I hope it goes well for you, man. Oh, I'm so sorry. So the reason I'm doing this is to bleed off speed, because if you guys recall, this plane has no flaps, like nothing. I have to rely on, I'm gonna have to also readjust my trim. Trim up will help me bleed off the speed. This should be interesting. With no flaps, this should be a really interesting landing. 20-30 minutes, I guess. Oh, okay, that's not bad at all, Balmer. There's a jetliner in the train. Yeah, I just saw it. I don't have the Munich scenery though. I wish I could have more scenery, but I mean, like I said, I'm trying to be careful how much money I spend. I don't like, but how expensive MSFS can get. I'm trying to be conservative with the money. Okay, we're doing good. Just enough speed. Ah, great landing. That's perfect. Perfect landing. Negative 107 feet per minute. Oh, that was perfect. Whew. Like I said, you gotta be careful landing this thing because, you know. Okay, I'm going to turn the next taxiway and get ready to park and turn off the engine. So guys, welcome to the beautiful German city of Munich, an historical information capital. Massive deal here in Germany. So thank you guys so much for coming along for today. I have the fastest internet connection in Europe in Switzerland. Yeah, I'm kind of jealous you have such fast internet. Well, I live here in the States, so it's not too much. So there we go, guys. And that's it, guys. We got leg 2 is complete. And let's see, leg 2 is done. We got leg 2 of the Orient Express journey. We're now in Munich. We have to find somewhere to park. So yeah, leg 2 is done. We got leg 206 is been complete, guys. Awesome job, everyone. Thank you guys so much for coming along into today's stream. Gonna have to find somewhere to park, turn off our engine, and then I'll discuss for what we're gonna be doing for the next couple days or so. Okay. Right here. Man, what a beautiful day out here for flying in Germany. There we go, guys. That's it. We can go ahead. Let's go ahead and turn everything off. Nav light off, strobe light off. Propeller decrease to minimum. Mixture is to decrease all the way. We're going to turn off the alternator. Turn off avionics, and we turn off the battery. So that's it, guys. That concludes our flight for today. I think you're one of the speedrunners. I'm actually one of the most accomplished pilots, that is. I'm a senior commander, you know. So guys, welcome to Munich International Airport here in Germany. We got leg 2 completed of 6. So the next Firefly Air event next Wednesday will be taking us to leg 3. We'll be heading off from Munich. So let me show you what we're going to be doing for next week's trip, for next week's train journey. They don't have a map. Let's pull this thing. So guys, for next week's journey, we'll be taking off from Munich and we'll go cross down into Vienna. We'll be visiting quite a few notable areas, including Rosenheim, into Rosenheim, Salzburg, Linz, and finally on our way to Vienna, one of the world's greatest cities, especially if you're into music and culture. Vienna's a classic. As for Sunday, there's quite a few cities, but expect me to do a stream visiting one of the more historic places. I'm thinking about visiting. It's up to you guys. Do you fly in Switzerland yet? I've flown Switzerland in the past, but I think the next stream is going to be, I'm going to keep it a surprise to you guys until when I do it. So guys, thank you so much for coming along onto today's stream. It has been an absolute blast to be with you all. I want to say a massive thank you to Abadia's player for the raid. Thank you so much, dude, for the stream. And I think we're going to obviously raid Two-Tail Murphy today. Let's go ahead and prepare for the raid. Hey, Death Crow, first time in chat. Hey, no worries, Death Crow. Don't feel bad, but welcome to the channel. Great to have you here, Death Crow. So I hope you're doing well. So we're going to go ahead and get to our raid of Two-Tail Murphy. If you guys don't know about Two-Tail Murphy, an amazing guy for the community. One of my biggest inspirations, and I'm a proud member of his community. Oh, and by the way, guys, before I get going, this wouldn't be the I'm going to tell you secretly, this will not be the last time you see me today. Thank you guys so much, and see you later. See you on Sunday, or actually see you at 2100 Zulu today. Bye.